Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to another TW9 video. A little bit of a shorter one today as we are on the week of Battle of the Belts, so hopefully it will be a decent one. So we're just going to run with Dynamite here. It's going to build up a few things for that event. It's going to build up a few things for World's End. And I can announce, if I go to the right bit, we have our own network now, which isn't going to show me. Great. So basically, I may as well just confirm what it is. Because Cablevision is the only one that shows Battle of the Belts, I have created the AEW network, which we paid about $10 million for. It's basically everywhere in the world is up to medium on an internet subscription, apart from the USA. Because I want to keep it a wee bit realistic in this, to start with anyway, in the sense of America gets it in Cablevision as pay-per-view, and the rest of the world is on this subscription service. Now the positive is we'll gain popularity globally for any event, which is good. The negative is we're going to lose like 300k a month, but realistically, if we take that loss at the start, it can ensure us profit in the future. So that's my way of looking at it. Hopefully, it means good things. Also, last episode I did say I was going to talk over the standings in the Continental Classic and completely forgot. So as you can see here, with the permutations, Bobby Lashley is pretty much through. Orange Cassidy is eliminated on 4 points. Yuta has a chance of being there, but Daniel Garcia would need to beat him. Hangman is out, we know about, because he can only get 6 points, and Takeshita is out because he can only get 7. So realistically, it's Bobby Lashley and one of Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia who'll make it through. In the blue group, well, it's a bit simpler. There's only a couple of matches to go there, which I think are both happening tonight. Sammy Guevara never won once, so he's out. Shibata's got 1 win, but he's out. He still has to face Samoa Joe. Okada has 10. Samoa Joe has 9, and so does Jay White. Roderick Strong's already out, but a decent showing with 7 points. So here, basically, Jay White needs to better Samoa Joe's result, and pretty much he needs to beat Okada. So massive permutations there, massive stakes. And I think we get everything tidied up in this episode apart from Lashley versus Hangman, which we can have down the line. I think it's Lashley and Hangman. I hope it is. But anyway, a lot of stuff going on. Without further ado, let's crack on with some Dynamite. So we are in the Riddler Arena in, I believe, Minnesota, and we start with some negative news. An injury. I wonder how this is going to affect plans going forward. But anyway, it's about they had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. A second chance for them for the Dark Order. Alex Reynolds, John Silver and Evil Uno challenged the Lucha Bros and El Hijo del Vikingo. Now the problem here is, this match I've done before, I'm hoping we can get a bit more depth to the Trios division. That's probably on me. That in the tag, I'm still wondering who goes where. But anyway, it is the babyfaces who win in 12:02. When Penta pinned Evil Uno with the Fear Factor. This gave them the third defence of the Trios Championships. Now, a 67 is pretty okay. Good performances for the babyfaces. John Silver were the best for the heels. Rey Fenix shone in the match, but unfortunately, Vikingo suffers a dislocated elbow. We'll be interested to see how that affects our plans going forward, because we get a call out in a second, as Orange Cassidy lets us know about that, from challengers for this Sunday Battle of the Belts, this Saturday, sorry, and that is everyone's father, the leader of the patriarchy. It is Christian Cage, alongside Killswitch and Nick Wayne. They have challenged the Vikingo, Penta and Rey Fenix for the Trios Championships this coming event, so a 39 for that one. That's how we tie up that loose end. Next up and about, had good heat and decent wrestling. Athena continues her great run of form, defeating Saraya in 9:40 with a top rope stunner. I made this storytelling so I felt Saraya's performance wouldn't be great. Of course, having extremely poor form was going to be a factor as well. But Athena with a 65 did carry the match to a decent 60 segment. And after the matchup, she has some words for the number 1 contender, Chris Statlander, in a 52 rated segment. She basically says when these two come ahead, you saw what she's done against Saraya, she's going to do the same to Statlander. Moving swiftly on, we then have some words from Mercedes Moné, who says, obviously with Camille in the background, looking dead intimidating. obviously just saying it was brave of Starlight Kid to step forward, but she's going to send her packing back to Japan with no championship. So a 35, not the best there for Mercedes, but hopefully it rubs off on Camille and gets her some popularity. In the Continental Classic, the Blue Group saw a decent wild brawl that had Samoa Joe defeating Shibata in 12:58. This one, pretty okay, both guys the same level of performance with a 58, the wrestling a 58, the overall segment a 60, but some good performance there from Samoa Joe that could possibly see him through. We then had some promos. We had Will Ospreay alongside Ricochet. I've not really used them that much the last month, purely because the Continental Classics they haven't done much. But they just basically say they were looking to take on a combination of the Hurt Syndicate in a 2-on-2 match. Lashley may be available, may not because of the Continental Classic, but they'll let the Hurt Syndicate basically pick who'll be available for that tag match. So the segment continues, the storyline, but it lost a bit of heat and is a 52 rated segment. Should probably put that international title on the line very soon. Next up, we had a great technical masterclass here. I'm calling it great, as Daniel Garcia drew with Wheeler Yuta in 15 minutes when the time limit expired. So another draw in the red group, but both of these guys have been shown. It's a second match, much improved for the first one, which was a 63. Great chemistry, and they've shown the development in the faith we've put in them so far with a great matchup here. And after it, Yuta says Moxley's been getting into his head, but he's shown against the TNT champion how good he is, how good Daniel Garcia's came along. It's wrestlers like him and Garcia that's going to be the future of All Elite Wrestling, and not people like John Moxley. So a 54 segment that continues the storyline, loses it a little bit of heat sadly. We then moved on to a bout that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, and I wish I made it the main event. But Hangman defeats Takeshita in 14:02 with a buckshot lariat. The match was designed so the wrestlers stole the show. Went with that one with Hangman, so the fact they get a 78 wrestling match, an 80 segment, and that's with Hangman off his game, so he could have been into the high 70s there. But good chemistry lifted the match up, and Hangman finally gets a win. After this one, we saw Mick Foley run to the ring and he attacks Hangman Page. Think him versus Randy Orton about 20 years ago, and him versus Edge back in the day. And then after it, he basically speaks to Renee Paquette and says he's fed up with what Hangman done to him. It's time for him to go out on style. He's challenging Hangman to a death match at World's End. Basically, I'm going to try and make it the most extreme match it'll let me have, and the most extreme match that Foley will let me do. So I'm aiming for a death match, but if his body says singles match, I'm going to be quite frustrated. But 56 anyway, Renee comes across well, and the final match has advanced, and the storyline has gained a bit of heat. It's going to be a terrible match, but I'm hoping Hangman can carry it, and just this with Foley benefits him in the future. And it's cool because like Mick's one of my favourite wrestlers of all time, like especially as I get older, great appreciation for him. As I say, I've got about 5 Mick Foley action figures in various ways, so aye. Have a nice day, basically. We then had a little promo with Claudio and Darby just saying their best before the World Championship match. Don't think this feud's really got going as much as I would have liked, but again, just reiterating from the attack in the skate park. And Claudio says when it's a full-on wrestling match, you won't have your skateboard. And let's be honest, I could probably launch you into about the 5th row, if not further. You little punk. But he'd probably say something like that. So 58, not the best in the world title picture, but hopefully the match delivers at World's End. And your main event was about with great wrestling and good heat, and Kazuchika Okada defeats Switchblade Jay White in 13:50 with a Rainmaker. This was part of the Continental Blue Group, so basically, yeah, so their group's done. Okada, the winner of the Blue Group. I was wondering there, I was like, please don't make this have any titles assigned to it, but no, it's just that concluding that bracket. So 76 for the wrestling, 55 for the crowd, 75 for the segment. Jay White with 72, Okada with 81. So the reason this won't be as high despite Okada's great performance, well, straight away, heel versus heel, but you don't have to worry about the storyline. But yeah, Okada's physical condition as well, but he'll get a wee break after the Continental Classic is done. So overall, we had a 69, nice, Not the strongest in terms of promos, admittedly. I think our highest promo was probably a 58. That's bad. A really poor show in the promos, and just the angles in general. The matches though were pretty strong, so you could probably say it was a typical AEW show, though we do increase our pop within 9 regions. So I'm going to do 2 things before we get to Rampage, which is no locker room incidents, just to confirm, since it should let me here. So we can see here, Okada with 13 points is the winner of the blue group, Samoa Joe second. So it will be Okada versus second place in the red, and Joe against the winner. Jay White with 9, Roddy with 7, Shibata 3, Sammy with 0. The other match we've got, and we'll have it on Collision, will be Bobby Lashley versus Hangman. So not the moment in WWE actually because of the event Battle of the Belts. But you can see there, well, the group is effectively done. Because Bobby Lashley has 12 points, cannot be beaten. Wheeler Yuta has 10 points, cannot go any higher. Garcia has 7, can't go any higher. Hangman can only get 6, Takeshita had 4, and Orange Cassidy in 4. So we pretty much are confirming that next week on Dynamite will be Bobby Lashley versus Samoa Joe and Kazuchika Okada versus Wheeler Yuta, with the 2 winners colliding at World's End for the AEW Continental Championship and of course the Continental Classic tournament itself. I hope that made sense. Tony, make it a bit more simpler going forward. I probably should have just done a big tournament to face the champ, but we went with the way they did it last year. But anyway, it is a one-off episode because we are going to be doing Rampage, Collision and Battle of the Belts in one. So thank you very much for watching. If you like what we thumbs up, deeply appreciated. Let us know how your saves are getting on. Remember, as always, check out the Fancy Booker subreddit, Grey Dog Software, forums, twdb.com and bethebooker.net. Until then, take it easy, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.